right, Miss Elf has done it again, my friends. It's done it again with episode number 6, just being absolutely effing adorable. And these are the moments that I live for right freaking here, y'all. These are the moments that I live for right here. 𝐒𝐻𝐻, Maribel looking at each other about across the street. They're like, yo, what we gonna do? Oh, what we gonna do? You gonna do it? You gonna do it, dude? What you gonna do? Oh, you gonna hold that hand? You gonna hold that hand? Let's go. Let's go. Hold the hand. 𝐒𝐻𝐻. You know what I mean? Hold that hand, brother. Like, oh, so good. So good. Okay. I have shared with you guys quite a bit that, like, when it comes to Miss Elf, the show just absolutely explodes in oogly googly goodness. By the way, happy Valentine's Day. When they are in Japan and it's the real world and it's their relationship and it's just this girl from another world getting acclimated to this world. I think that the show could have even been written to where it was a one and done, where 𝐒𝐻𝐻 suddenly, I think if you think about it this way, right? 𝐒𝐻𝐻 always goes to this other world, and then one day, you know, he's about to get killed and he brings her to this world, and that stops him from being able to go back to that world. And then the show is just centered around how he brought an elf somehow from this other world into Japan, and just her getting acclimated and living here and everything else. Like, that is a dope show, as opposed to the need for them to go back and forth and the sleep thing and everything else. Like, that is a dope show, because, like, the show is adorable, it's charming, it's cute. Seeing her get her first friend, seeing her talk about anime, seeing her learn Japanese, is so effing cute. We're gonna go to an onsen next. That is adorable. Like, it's just so good for that. Now, here's the deal, though. Because it didn't do the way I just said, right? It's doing what it's going to do, and it's going to do what it's going to do. It introduced a lot of questions, and I don't think we're going to get an answer to any of them. And maybe if you're familiar with the source material, maybe you can educate me and or us in the comments. But it introduced a few different questions for me. One is, does 𝐒𝐻𝐻 truly go to this other world every single night? Like, so every day he falls asleep, he goes to this other world. Like, that's like one of the first questions, right? Like, does he go, is it consistently every single time he goes to sleep, bar none, period, the end? Because I don't think we had like a big time jump here, but I feel like maybe we went a couple of days or something, and he was just working and living at home and whatever else, right? So is it consistent? One of the last episodes, they confirmed that 𝐒𝐻𝐻 needs to be near somebody, but doesn't have to be touching them to have them transported to the other world. So, based on that, was there any experience ever? You know, obviously Miss Elf was the first one, but like, it's impossible that his whole entire life he's never slept next to nobody. Your mama? Nobody since you were a kid that you would come to this world, right? And the short answer there is you have to think that no, he hasn't, because he didn't mention it at all. And he's been coming here since he was a kid. So he must have just been a really lonely kid. The third question is, okay, since we confirmed they don't have to be touching each other, does that mean if Mari goes to sleep somewhere else and he's not around, like if she takes a nap during the day, what does that mean? Does she just sleep and wake up in this world? Does she automatically get booted to the other world? Does 𝐒𝐻𝐻 really need to be next to her? Or does he need to be the initiator of sleep? And when it comes to sleep, we don't all fall asleep at the same time. When me and my wife go to sleep, 99% of the time, she falls asleep first. So does that mean like she doesn't get transferred? She's just sleeping until I go to sleep? So does it just mean that she's chilling until he goes to sleep? Fourth thing is, like, let's say he dies. Let's say he gets hit by a truck and like legitimately dies, and she's in Japan. When she falls asleep again, does she automatically get booted to that other world? You know what I mean? Like, does she just stay in that other world now, or does she stay here in Japan? And then the fifth thing is like, well, what if they like let's get answers to those questions. But what if they sleep in different rooms? So he wants to have her here, but what if they sleep in different rooms? Like, what if they fall asleep in the same like square footage, but not right next to each other? Does that mean that she doesn't have to keep going back to this other world over and over again like 𝐒𝐻𝐻 does? Like, she could just kind of stay chilling here, and she doesn't have to keep worrying about going back? Like, what does that mean? Or what does that entail exactly? You know, like, is that a possibility? So those are all the questions that I felt like I was thinking about, you know, as the episode was going on, that I don't know if we'll get an answer to it or not. So that's kind of the interesting thing. Otherwise, though, just speaking about this episode, I thought this was like a 8 out of 10 episode. It was adorable. I love seeing Maribel get her first friend, which was Kurorako or something like that. Basically, 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐽, the Kazuhiho's like, friend from high school, college or something. And they got to go on a double date. So it was his book friend with her husband, and then Maribel and Kazuhiho, which he kind of screwed the pooch early on with saying like, oh, she's family visiting here. I don't know why you would say that. He could just say like, oh, she's a friend from overseas. She's my pen pal who finally decided to visit me. He could have gone so many ways, but he's like, no, she's my cousin. She's my aunt's kid. Very weird shit. But, regardless, he decided to do that. So now he has to deal with that awkwardness. Even though they call him out like, oh, are you guys actually like really dating? Like you guys are really, really close to each other. And he has to be like, oh, no, we're not, like, oh, sister from another mister, whatever, like so weird about it. So he kind of screwed the pooch on that. But it was definitely really cute to be able to see her interact and everything. And I love how she was invited over. And I love how she's really into anime. I love seeing what she does while he's at work, which is, prepare lunch for herself and watch TV and learn more about this world and vacuum and clean. And even through the episode, Mari was like, oh, I think I'm getting too used to all these amenities and stuff. And it's true. Like, as she's getting acclimated here into, baths and food and the way of living and vacuuming. And like, at this point, just bust out some kids and just be a stay-at-home wife, mom, whatever for Kazuhiho. But you guys go on these otherworldly adventures in the night while your kids are sleeping or something at this point. They do need to solve the ear situation, though. So maybe as they go into the other world, maybe they can figure out some kind of magic or some kind of like, like a magic, like not shadow magic, but like the magic where it's like it tricks the mind into not seeing it, like a imaginary magic or something like that, like imaging magic. I don't know. There's a word for it, and my brain just can't figure it out right now. But maybe they can figure out some kind of magic to be able to hide her ears. Because they called it out this episode when they were eating dinner. It's like, oh, she's wearing a beanie here. It's kind of a high-end restaurant. Like, obviously, fuck the restaurant. Like, I wouldn't care. I wore a beanie wherever, like, I wear a beanie wherever the hell I want to go. Like, I've been in a really upstart, like, I've been in like $1,000 dinner type deal in like Vegas, and I was wearing a hat. Because, fuck them. Like, I'm paying. Like, I don't give a shit. So, I hate that comment. But again, that's just my personality, like, is what it is kind of thing. So anyways, great episode. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 7. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, but it did stir up with me a lot of questions. So if you have answers to any of those, please let us know in the comments. I don't think it's spoilery. If it is, obviously please let us know ahead of time or refrain from saying it at all. But I just don't think we're going to get answers to those questions. I don't think that this show is that deep. So if there are answers to it, I would be interested to know them, especially if they were already covered. But they're just deciding to just kind of glaze over that for whatever reason. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Happy Valentine's Day. Peace.